Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'm speaking with Vikas Ranjan from Vortex Metals. In this interview, we discuss the gold market, where Vikas thinks it could be heading in 2024. We also get into a recent acquisition by Vortex for a brownfield project in Chile. And we also touch on the company's projects that were spearheaded by the late David Jones in Mexico. All right, everybody, enjoy the interview. Vikas, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks, Steve, for having me.
So Vikas, the talk right now amongst the Canadian junior markets, at least as of this morning that we're chatting, is that gold has shown some strength. It's a few months now of strength. We're getting near all-time highs in terms of US dollars. What's your read right now on what's happening in the gold market?
I think it's looking good, to be honest. Everybody's waiting for the interest rates to flatline and go down, and that will weaken the US dollars. As you know, there's complete inverse relationship between commodities and precious metals, including gold and US dollars. So as US dollar weakens, which will happen in the first quarter of 2024, you would see gold do pretty good. Traditionally, if you look at the history, Q1 has been pretty good for gold. So I am expecting gold to have a bit of a run, and if it breaks the all-time high, then watch it. So yeah, quite optimistic.
At what point do you think we would see capital start to flow into the gold equities? I mean, I know it typically goes the majors first and then it trickles down to the explorers, but at what level do you think the sort of junior investors should be watching to see where we're going to start to see some volume kick in and some capital start to flow into some of the exploration names?
I think the investors are waiting to see a consolidation in gold above 2,000 per ounce. And, you will see a bit of a run, then pull back. And as long as the pullback still stays gold above 2,000 ounce, you will start to see juniors start to move up, because that will be a confirmation that now it's kind of, a real bull market in gold and gold equities. So I'm waiting to see the pullback after the run. So we have to wait for the run first and then a pullback. And if it stays above 2,000, you will see gold equities, junior equities do very well.
So let's talk about Vortex Metals. You guys recently made the Illapel Project acquisition. It extends from a current existing copper mine all the way through some notable geology. What can you tell us about the project? Why was it attractive for Vortex Metals?
Absolutely. So yeah, you were right. Very pleased to announce that we signed the definitive agreement last Monday on Illapel Copper Project. This is a brownfield project in a very known mining jurisdiction, known for copper and gold mining, primarily copper. A number of small and mid-tier producers in the region. As a matter of fact, very close, only 14 kilometers away, a new copper mine is going into production called El Espino, which has the feasibility and is currently valued at US dollar $380 million. So this project, which we have signed, already has a small mine on it. It's called Rio 27. It will be part of our agreement. Although we are not taking over the mine, we do have a ROFR, right of first refusal on the mine. But our focus would be exploration. So this project is 8,000 hectares. Excellent infrastructure just off the Pan American Highway, very close to a town Illapel, and no community issues, no environmental issues, fully permitted for exploration, and we are ready to hit the drilling as soon as we get the TSXV approval on the transaction. So the first phase would focus on drilling exploration along the strike, north and south. We believe both sides is completely open along the strike, 0.5 kilometer to 1 kilometer on each side, and down dip. The funny thing is that our partners who we did the deal with, they never explored. They never put a single drill hole. They just started to mine an outcrop, and they went underground, and they have been mining for the last 7-8 years. So, they have taken out 400,000 ton plus ore from the ground. They have a small processing plant which can process up to 300 tons a day. And for us, it's great because we know the type of deposit. It's a manto type strata-bound deposit. We know the metallurgy. We know the recovery. All we have to do really, Steve, is to go and find a bigger ore body. And we are very confident that with, proper systematic exploration, we can do that. So first phase, drilling along the strike, down dip, then step out and do the same and keep expanding the resource. So that's our goal in the very short to medium term on this project.
Okay, so when I look at the terms of the deal, it's going to require you guys to raise some significant funds over the next few years to see the full transaction end up in your hands. What's the capital market strategy to successfully complete this transaction over the next few years?
Very good question, Steve. And that is a challenge. I would admit that, given the market conditions where we are, it's not easy to raise money, right? As a junior, it's difficult. So our goal is to go systematically, value add at every step of the way. So right now, we would have to raise some capital, but we don't need too much capital. Probably the first phase of drilling would require, give or take, $1 million US and change, which we should be able to find, at reasonable levels. And we put that dollar amount in the ground. Hopefully we get some drilling success, which shows the potential in the project. It's more about expansion than discovery. We know that there is deposit here just to expand and how economically we can expand that. And hopefully we get, rewarded in the capital market and the share price, appreciates. And then we do a small financing again. So step by step, I think we can do that. Just have to be careful in terms of our cap structure. And it's not about going and raising $5 million in one go, rather doing it step by step.
So let's talk about the copper market for a minute. I'm always interested to hear people's different perspectives on the copper market. What's your sort of bull thesis on the copper market?
Well, we believe in copper, and that is the reason why we have projects. As you know, we just concluded this definitive on Chile, but we have two excellent VMS project, copper and gold project in Mexico as well, which were personally curated by late David Jones, who discovered Los Filos, one of the largest gold and silver mine in Mexico. So these two projects in the state of Oaxaca, we are waiting for permits so that we can drill. These are drill ready. Why copper? We believe that there is secular decline in the supply side for copper. Over last 25 years, it's staggering to know that 95% of all copper discoveries, including resource and reserve, were discovered before year 2000. Can you believe that? So supply is dwindling. Demand is going to be very, very strong, especially coming from energy transition. There is, by the way, no energy transition going to be complete, no net zero going to be achieved without copper. It's such an critical metal, for electrification and energy transition. So it's not me saying that. Standard & Poor projected that by 2030, the demand and supply gap, actually 2035, they're talking about as high as 19 million metric ton, gap between demand and supply. Goldman Sachs is projecting 5 million metric ton deficit by as early as 2027. So, we are very bullish on copper. The use of copper is widespread for electrification and energy transition, and also overall growth. So maybe in the very short term, you can see some headwinds because of, economy slowing down. But recently, I saw an article which said that LME, they had a conference in London, and copper got the best vote. 53% of all analysts polled said that copper is their number one choice for the best performing metal in 2024. So we remain very optimistic about copper's future. And if we can find good assets, good deposits, which we can advance economically, we think we will do very well for shareholders of Vortex.
So Vortex also has projects in Mexico, and that was previously the main focus of the company. Can you give us an update on what you guys are doing in Mexico right now?
Absolutely. So as I mentioned, these projects are highly, highly prospective. David Jones, who unfortunately we lost him a few years ago, as you remember, He was a legendary, a geologist who discovered not just Los Filos, but some other deposits as well. He had assembled a land package in the state of Oaxaca, and he had partnered with Oz Minerals, which is a mid-tier producer from Australia, which has spent just over $2 million US getting these projects drill ready. And David personally curated half a dozen drill targets on these highly prospective projects. Unfortunately, the drill permitting process has been slow. It's not an easy place from that perspective, but we have made significant strides in the last year and a half. We got environmental study completed on both projects. We are in the process of seeking community approval, which we believe we have confidence that we will get it. It's just that it has taken a lot longer than we thought. So we are optimistic. Hopefully, we get the community approval early 2024, at least on one of the projects we're looking at. And then hopefully we get the drill permit sometime in 2024, more like, Q2, Q3 timeframe. And then we will be able to drill. The good thing is that it's all set to drill. It's not that we have to do any major work. As a matter of fact, we just concluded a 45-day geological program, surface program, a lot of trenching and other work, which has been very, very positive. So again, that is a pure discovery play. There has never been a drill hole in those projects. So that is very exciting, because if we do, drill and we are successful, then that will be a genuine discovery. And these are potentially large systems we are talking about. So that will be very exciting. But yes, it has been slower than our expectation.
I know Mexico's had some regulatory challenges, particularly with open pit mining. That really wouldn't be a concern for this project, because this would presumably, if you guys hit something, you're drilling pretty deep. Yeah,
no, you're right. Yes, there has been of late some concerns in Mexico, changing mining code and things like that. So there has been some headwinds because of that. But we still believe that Mexico is still a good mining country. There are lots of big companies operating. For us, it would not be a problem. As you rightly pointed out, most likely the deposit which we will find would be underground, amenable to underground mining. Now, one thing I will say that, the concessions which we have, large land area, very, very prospective, and those have higher value today, because it's not going to be easy for new companies to go and get concessions in Mexico anymore. So anything which is there, grandfathered, will have a much, much higher value from that perspective. So that's what I think. From our perspective, it's manageable, although there has been some concerns lately.
Now, are you guys looking at any other projects for Vortex, or is the idea right now you guys got plenty on your plate to work with and to focus on the current portfolio?
Right now, we have plenty in our plate. Especially Chile will keep us busy, very, very busy, for at least next 12 to 18 months as we advance this project. As I mentioned to you, this is not a grassroots project. This is a brownfield project where we can really establish a resource base very, very quickly and move it towards pre-feasibility. So we will focus on that. And of course, I'm still quite optimistic that we will get eventually drill permits in Mexico. And, we absolutely are going to test those drill targets, But hey, look, as a public company, we're always looking for opportunities, So if something comes to us very compelling, then of course we would look at that. But right now, I think we have some really good projects. We like to say that from exploration project perspective, Steve, this company now has a portfolio of 3 projects. Most junior company will be happy with just one of those. So now we have 3. So we do have a very good, strong portfolio of potential copper assets.
So for investors watching, are there any timelines or milestones that they should be watching in 2024?
Absolutely. They should be watching for us to be drilling in Q1 in Chile. And hopefully, that results in good success for us. Demonstrates the expansion of the project, the potential resource, and we have lots of area to cover there. It's 8,000 hectares, as I mentioned. There's one concession at least which has gold showing as high as ranging from 0.5 gram per ton to 4.5 gram per ton in samples. So we want to drill those targets as well, test those at depth. A lot of exploration type catalyst potentially in Q1 and Q2 in Chile. And of course, in Mexico, the goal would be to get advance the drill permit process. So hopefully we get the drill permit as well. So a lot of exciting news hopefully coming in next couple of quarters.
Right, well, Vikas, thanks for hopping on here, and hopefully you can come back on in the future when we get some results from the exploration, and we can update everyone as the story continues to unfold.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time, Steve, and thank you for having me.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Also, let me know what you think in the comments section. All right. Thanks, everyone.